welcome. Thank you for your attendance this fine, cold Clarkston night for our secondary curriculum night. Appreciate you all taking this evening to kind of hear about our unified programs. I'm Sean Ryan, Superintendent here in Clarkston, and this is the first time that we've ever done it as a collected program, 6th through 12th grade. And the kind of the reason behind it is if you look at our elementary programs, all the way through, extremely tight. We have 7 elementaries, every grade level. As they progress on through, we scaffold it in a way that we kind of build that learning, build that people building, and build that program as they come up towards our secondary schools. And when you leave 5th grade, you end into Sashbaugh Middle School, and I believe you feel like that sense of that you're starting on a layer of roller coasters and adventures, but they feel, at least in the past, I think, to our families, more disjointed than they actually are. And although it's kind of unique, if you look at Clarkston, to have a 6-7 middle school, an 8-9 junior high, and a 10-11-12 senior high, those programs overlap to a really high degree. And we thought whether you were towards the end and hitting up towards the high school, or just getting ready for your first student to cross into middle school, that would be really good for you to kind of get a holistic picture. Because we've really pushed over the last several years, over the last decade, in so many different directions of opportunities in Clarkston. And far from looking at it as more of just piece by piece or step by step, I like to think of it more that you're coming tonight to kind of see more of a blank canvas of what your students and what kind of options and opportunities that they have from when they get into 6th grade all the way through 12th. Because they're unique and they're made for all different kinds of learners. You know, whether your student is interested in the trades and construction or wants to be the next MIT engineer, it all starts right here. And along the way, there's lots of different formats. Not only do we have the middle school, junior high, and high school, but we have Renaissance Alternative School for high school that offers a whole different kind of learning opportunity. And we have our Clarkston Virtual Program, which again offers not even in-class or in-school learning. You know, so the flexibility is really, really high. And we want you to get a sense of when you come in through 6th grade and as you progress through the program all the way through that senior year and beyond, that there's a sense of holistic opportunity to it. And that once you have a better sense of kind of how the whole picture fits together, we're hoping that your ability to be able to navigate it and be able to support your students and be able to guide them. And we're certain that not only will they have a plethora and a huge number of opportunities, but they're allowed, and we hope that they change their mind all through these opportunities. We want them to be exposed and experience school in a way that kind of builds interest and excitement. That really, it doesn't end, as most of us parents know, when you cross the stage graduating in 12th grade. It's really just a beginning. And evenings like this, although the fall seems far away right now, is where it all kind of starts. So tonight I'd like you to be able to get kind of a holistic view of the program, see what we hold kind of important in terms of our cornerstones, and what we have guide us in terms of principles, all the way through in every building and all programs. And we want to get you a strong sense of opportunity to where you can talk to the individuals that are in charge of these programs, that run them, that are part of them, and really get a sense of if they're right for you, if you want to explore further. But again, tonight is just a beginning, not only in terms of getting that information, but we want you to make sure that you can reach out tonight, tomorrow, and throughout the spring to me, to the entire team up here. If you have questions we'd like to talk through, if you want to see something or get your hands on something more in terms of your understanding and being able to navigate the next couple months, next couple of years. So I want to thank you again on behalf of our entire school district, our school board, on you attending this evening. It's so important to show up. I appreciate that. And at this point, I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy Mahoney. She's the Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services, and she's going to guide the next part of our program. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Very excited to celebrate our secondary division, and I welcome you if this is your first experience into the secondary world upon leaving elementary, or just if you're here tonight to learn more about the secondary experience. So just warmly welcome you. I want to start off just by celebrating our mission statement that Clarkston Community Schools fully believes in. and that is that we create a learning environment where students, staff, and families are challenged, healthy, engaged, safe, and supported. And this was a collaborative effort to build this mission statement that we believe in it and we refer to it and we're reminded in terms of our purpose and why we're here for our students. And I just want to lift up the fact that we speak to students, staff, and families because our mission is to serve the entire community of Clarkston. And I also wanted to highlight this word of safe. And when we think about keeping kids safe and our families safe, it really refers to physical safety as well as emotional safety. We also have a vision statement that guides our work. In Clarkston Community Schools, students, we want them to be very well prepared for a future that excites them and believe that they can achieve their dreams. So this future that excites them, we want our students to have interests and to feel good about a skill or a topic as they leave their secondary experience. It's very important when they graduate that we want students to have a plan in order to move forward with their life. And we recognize that plans can change, but at least they have a first step. They feel confident that they can enter the world, whether it be a university or a career. So we do have a strategic plan. Again, this was a very strong collaborative effort with many minds in the district to create, and I want to lift up our 4 pillars. We call that pillars of excellence. And our strategic plan was a collaborative and aspirational plan that serves as a roadmap for measurable objectives that we are committed to for the next 5 years. And it focuses on whole person development. These are ways to build a culture of well-being, and I want to go back to our mission statement. When we think about well-being, we're serving our students, our staff, and our families. And we've also made a concerted effort to really build community partnerships within our community and how it can serve us. Foundational and academic skills. This is our focus on academic success. We continue to revise based on data. We reflect and we collect feedback on how our students are performing. And when we look at that, we constantly adjust. We want to be well-researched, and we want to do what's right for our students. Student-focused learning. This increases ways to demonstrate mastery of learning. So we think about having kids to show us what they know. We want to have a wide variety for our students to display that. And again, we put relationships as our #1 priority in serving the needs of our students. And future pathways. This is where we empower our students to own their future. Again, this goes back to our vision statement about a future that excites our students. It's important that we expose our students to careers and allow them to explore through course selection. And I'm going to speak to this in their secondary experience, so that these learning experiences, these topics prepare them, again, for when they graduate to step forward into the world. So I want to speak to several opportunities within the secondary experience. And some of you might know we have a school kind of setting where kids enter Sashabaw Middle School. This is grades 6, 7, and from there they go to the junior high for grades 8, 9. And then we've got some high school options here, but I want to speak to that. And so as students leave our elementaries, they enter a Sashabaw Middle School, which again is 2 grades. And so students are put into teams for their core classes. This means social studies, science, math, and English. And this is where teachers can collaborate with the same group of students, building relationship, talking about what works and what doesn't to meet the needs of our kids. Student schedules are built on quarters at Sashabaw Middle Schools so that students can choose and explore electives for the very first time. From Sashabaw Middle School, our kids enter the junior high. This is grades 8 and 9. This is where we introduce honors courses, and students start receiving credits in the 9th grade for their graduation requirements. Students, again, can select different courses for electives. Here we offer courses like our construction tech program. Students can enter our Clarkston Science Math Technology Academy, which we call CSM Tech. And students can also start participating in high school musicals as well as athletics. where we are right now, this is our grades 10, 11, and 12. We have courses galore. We offer advanced placement courses. We have an international baccalaureate program. We have a program called DEEP, which stands for Dual Enrollment Education Partnership. This is where we have a partnership with University of Michigan Flint, where students can receive an associate's degree while in their high school experience. We have career tech education courses. At Clarkson High School, we have over 25 clubs. We have stellar music program, many athletic teams. So there are opportunities available in waiting for every student here at Clarkson High School. I also want to celebrate that we have Renaissance High School. This is an alternative high school for grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. And some of our students desire a smaller setting. It's a different structure and support model for their high school experience. You'll hear from Gary Vicker, our RHS principal, for more information tonight. And I think this is our second year where we've embraced, I guess, at a school or a program that we're calling Clarkson Virtual, and this is K-12. This is a school experience for students who can learn at their own pace. It offers a family flexibility. Our students and families create their own schedule, and students have some level of independence in learning. Students can enter or exit our Clarkson Virtual program at any grade level. And you'll hear from Damon Rocco tonight to share more information about Clarkson Virtual. I also want to speak to instructional practices when it comes to secondary. And I lead a team that is called our subject area coordinators. This is a collaborative team, and it's made of teacher leaders who specialize in content areas that help guide our classroom teachers in a uniform process for grades 6 through 12. We focus on instruction, we focus on curriculum, we focus on assessment. And we've learned a lot about the importance of offering choice for our students within our courses that tap into students' interests, talents, and their skills. And I believe to keep kids engaged is how the best way our kids can learn. And I know when they have choice in their learning, students become more engaged. Another instructional practice we continue to grow in, our teachers can best respond to the various needs and learning styles within the classrooms. We provide what's called a different instructional approach within the same classroom to meet all our students' needs, and we call this differentiated instruction. And finally, we continue to grow our platform. I think I spoke to this, of assessment, so students can show us what they know in a variety of ways, with our ultimate goal always that students can master the content. I want to lift up a big rock that we're beginning to move and focusing on, especially this year, and that is career awareness and readiness. So when students graduate from Clarkson Community Schools, we recognize that not all our students desire to attend a college or a university right out of high school. We continue to prepare our kids for a future in these secondary years. We continue to plan forward with expanding our skilled trade program on our campuses, staying committed to our relationship with Oakland Tech Center for a variety of career-based experiences. And we continue to grow our work-based learning opportunities within our community. All our courses do prepare our students for the pathway they desire, whether it be college or career. We certainly want them ready. And then I wanted to speak to our student support services. And we continue to recognize the diverse needs of our kids. Our student support services remains dedicated to serving our students that have particular needs, impairments, or disabilities. These students come through teacher interactions and instructions. These supports do. They come through counseling, individualized educational plans. And you're going to hear more about this from our new director, Stacy Theopolis, this evening. So I'm very excited to celebrate the secondary experience. We have very, very good schools, good teachers, good administrators, good supports. And I now want to introduce Gary Vicker, who's going to come forward and speak to Renaissance High School.
what I want to send you away with is a few touch points of what we do, but more what I want you to understand is the feeling, because a lot of kids need some supports that, that a smaller setting provides. And the majority of kids, go through a large high school and a comprehensive school, and they do fine. And but there are those kids along the way that maybe just need something a little different, and that's what we provide. A little background about me is I've spent 23 years in alternative ed. It's the only thing I've done in education. And I really believe that that's where my heart is. And so when I have staff in, then that's the staff that I bring in are the ones that have a heart for that. And so I just want to talk a little bit about three things. I want to talk about our educational supports, I want to talk about our social emotional supports, and I want to talk about a different approach. So to start out with, our educational supports are, we have smaller class sizes. We're about 19 kids per class, which is pretty good. And, we just really kind of to work through that and really work hard to have kids, be able to find that support. We have a little better access to the teachers. We have a community forum. And during our community forum time, kids do a grade check once a week, and then they have once a week where they work on makeup assignments where they have access to their teacher. And I believe that one piece in there, we also do a lot of other things during that time that help kids academically, but that also help kids socially, emotionally. But it really provides us that time and effort to be able to make sure those kids have, besides just a lecture or assignments or whatever, or lesson, what they have is time with the teacher to get what they need, to get, to figure out what they need academically. And we have what's called our skinny. And that's the opposite of me, because I'm not a skinny guy. But I really just believe that's an important thing. At the end of our trimester, or at the end of the semester, we have a couple of weeks where we kind of enter content early. So our teachers redesign their content to fit within that frame. And for those last couple of weeks, kids come in, and if they're just a little short, not quite there, or maybe want to bump that grade up a little bit, they can work with the teacher, work on a little mastery of skill, and push themselves to be able to achieve that class, to get that credit, to be able to move forward with their academics, or to improve that grade. And I think that's an important thing. We provide a lot of differentiated instruction. The teachers, and this happens in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it happens in different ways in the same subject area. So, in one group of kids may need a certain thing, and that teacher will provide that for them. But in that same subject area, a different group of kids may need something different. So my teachers are very diverse, they're very skilled, and they're able to kind of read the classroom and figure out what kids need to be able to provide that for them. And I think that's an important thing that we do, it's a lot of work on the teachers, but I'll tell you what, they really find gratification watching kids succeed, and especially kids that may have struggled their whole life. So we have a number of credit recovery options. The majority of our students do need credit recovery, because that's kind of how you end up to it with us. You need a little credit recovery, so we have a lot of options for that. And you're going to notice on every slide at the bottom I put family, because that's kind of who we really are. We're a family, and some good and some bad, as we all know, but we're a family, and we love each other, support each other. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our social emotional supports. We have a student support coach who works with kids, because sometimes when you walk into the door of a school, maybe you had an argument with a parent, maybe you had an argument with a sibling, or maybe just you didn't sleep well, or maybe you're just frustrated, with life in general. And it's important to have somebody that you can just talk to, because some kids need that. They just need somebody to talk to, just a quick conversation, maybe 10 minutes, just to kind of get it out. And I think that that's an important thing that we provide. We have a great counselor, okay? So I'm not going to point her out, but she's over there. But I call her, I always refer to her when I meet with parents for the first time, I always refer to her as caring and feisty. And she's both, because she's going to give you a hug and a kick in the pants at the same time. You'll never doubt she cares for you, but she's not going to let you slack either. And that's a good thing to have. I couldn't ask her better. We have a break room, because what we realize is that a lot of kids, when they come to school, don't get a break. I can go in my office and close the door for a few minutes. Teachers have a prep period. We have time between classes, but kids are on all day long. But sometimes you just need to step out of life for just 10 minutes and say, I need to breathe for a couple of minutes. We have a great room. It's been redesigned. There's no cell phones in there. So for those of you parents that worry about, nope, that's not a cell phone room. You go in there, it's a time for you just to relax a little. It has different furniture, different lighting. And we just realized that some kids just need that minute to just kind of catch their breath, and it's an important thing that we provide. along with the smaller classes, we have mentor groups, and our mentor groups are just people from the outside, people from the community that just say, I care about kids, and I want to come in and I just want to be there for kids. And I think that those are important things. But the most important thing we do for social emotional learning for our students is we provide them with relationships. We have a Friendsgiving dinner to make sure that every kid has a good Thanksgiving dinner. The staff put on a holiday breakfast for kids before the break. We do challenges as part of our community forum, and we do restorative circles, both just personal growth and for, kids that are having some challenges. And I think that provides us that family atmosphere that's so important, in our day and age, because as I tell parents all the time, I'm the only administrator in my building, but I still work with the administrators from the other secondary buildings and even the elementary buildings as part of my life. So it's good for us to kind of learn how to, have good relationships and do that. Last but not least, a different approach. So I'm going to tell you the best story you've ever heard, and that's because it's my story. So when I grew up, I wasn't a great student. In fact, my brothers and sisters give me a hard time, still to this day, about, we've only heard my mom swear one time, and that was at me, and she said, Gary, you better pass that class because I planned an open house. So when I was growing up, I did recovery. It was packets back then, it wasn't online. And I did summer school every summer, and I barely graduated high school. And my plan was to, my brother worked in Rochester in the maintenance department. I was going to be a custodian, then move into maintenance at Rochester schools. Not a bad living, my brother did a great job there. But I had a teacher that kind of stood next to me and said, you know what, maybe you can do a little more. You got offered this partial soccer scholarship, maybe you need to go take advantage of that and just see. So I told my dad, I said, I'll be back in one semester. I'm going to go, I'm going to play soccer for one semester, I'm going to fail, and I'll be back. And that was my goal. But once I got to college, I realized there's so much more. It's so much different. It's such a great place. It's just a different thing. But if I would not have had that one teacher that just stood by me and said, maybe you could do a little more, then I never would have done what I've done. And I'm not great for anything that I've done. I have a couple of master's degrees and a bachelor's degree in pre-law, but, I would never have done any of that without that little pushing. And that's why I've worked in alternative ed for 23 years, and that's why this is all I've ever done, this is all I ever want to do. Because I realize that some kids just need that little extra push and that little extra thing. So when I sit down with kids and I talk to them, I tell every new student that comes in this story. And I said, because I don't want you to think I sailed through high school with a 3.8, and then I went to college and I became a teacher and then an administrator. I said, I did not take the easy path. I said, and it wasn't easy, and I had those people that had to kick my butt every day, but that's what we want to be for kids. And that's why we stand at Renaissance Alternative, so that we can have that opportunity to help kids make their potential, whatever that might be. And so I just want to thank you for a little bit of time, and thank you for indulging me in my story. But I also want you to know that this is why I've done nothing else except for alternative ed, because this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is where the kids find the help that they need.
Vicker. I'd like to now introduce Damon Rocco. Damon Rocco serves as a counselor, and he's here for our Clarkson Virtual, and he's here to share information about, again, Clarkson Virtual K-12. Welcome, Damon.
So I really wish I would have known that we were able to stand behind a podium. Because as I was getting ready today, pulled out these shoes that apparently none of my kids have seen. As I walked out the door, one of them said, Dad, when did you get those shoes? And the other one said, Dad, take those shoes off. So I got them all shined up, and now I get to stand behind a podium. I wish I was in my tennis shoes. I know I've been with the virtual program long enough. When you look up here and you see this long hair, shiny shoes that are hiding behind a podium. Normally I'm in rock climbing shoes, as Gary Call would like to say. When are you going rock climbing? And just comfortable attire. But I'm going to talk to you about a few things in regards to Clarkston Virtual. I'm going to give you a brief overview, just the history of Clarkston Virtual, how it's evolved over the years, and it continues to evolve every single semester. It's evolving rapidly. We have a great support team in our administration. They're on board with this. They've helped us promote this. They've really supported this program, so I really appreciate it. Appreciate everything that they've done to help us and all the secondary and elementary schools. So, as Nancy said, my name is Damon Rocco. I'm the online coordinator for Clarkston Community Schools. And just to give you a little history on this program, I think people are shocked when I tell them that this program has been around for more than 5 years. We've had a Clarkston virtual program. Has it been this big? No. It actually started out, I was asked to come over and help coordinate our online learning, and we had 8 full-time virtual students. I'm like, this is golden. I landed like, I drew the lottery ticket. This is so good. And we had approximately 40 to 60 high school, junior high students that would just take one online class, whether that be because there was a scheduling conflict or because we didn't offer that particular class that they were interested in at one of the schools. We were able to sign them up for an online class. And the way that we did that was we partnered up with these really big online providers, Michigan Virtual, Ingenuity, Pete, Get Fueled Education, and we would sign these students up, we would purchase the curriculum, and we would purchase one of their teachers that happened to be a certified Michigan teacher, but perhaps they were teaching out of Texas or out of Virginia. And these students would go to our Learning Commons, and they would sit down during that hour, and they would open their laptops, and they would work on their online classes. And at the time, we were like, this is great, it served its purpose. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic rolled around. And we jumped up to about 2,000 virtual students. At that point in time, I did not feel like I won the lottery. However, we saw a need for it. The community showed us that there was a need for it. We had students that just did not feel comfortable being in the building, and families, and we respected that. And again, our administration was up for the test, and they supported this program. And rapidly, we just grew and grew and grew. So now what we do is we actually created 2 teams to look at virtual programs throughout the United States. We had an elementary team and we had a secondary team. They were comprised of teachers and support staff and administration, and they reviewed about 5 or 6 different virtual providers. They reviewed their curriculum, and they spent an entire summer doing this. And at the end of that summer, we brought the teams back together. They told us what platforms they thought would align as close as possible to the curriculum that we're teaching here in Clarkston and at all the building levels, K through 12. So we decided on Lincoln Learning for our elementary grades, and we decided on Pearson Connexus for our secondary learners. And in addition to that, we also noticed that when our students 5 years ago were signing up for these online classes, and when we were signing them up, there was really no connection to Clarkston schools other than the fact that they were in our buildings and sitting behind a laptop. So with the help of administration and the support of administration, we recruited some of our own teachers within Clarkston. We hired new teachers. So now every single one of our classes that we are offering to our students virtually are supported, graded, mentored by Clarkston staff and Michigan certified teachers. So it's a really, really special program. Like I said, it's grown exponentially. It continues to fluctuate, obviously. Some of that has to do with the pandemic, but we're really excited about it. We also brought on 2 counselors from within the district, one that worked at the high school and one that worked at the junior high. So we have some expertise in the field of counseling, academics, social, emotional support, and they are full-time virtual counselors within the district to support our students within the virtual program. So, like I said, our virtual program is supported by all Clarkston teachers. We have a lot of parents and we have a lot of students that ask us, well, if I move to the virtual program, can I still participate in the sports that Clarkston offers? Can I still participate in clubs and activities? Can I be part of a theater club? Can I be part of cross country? And our answer is always, yes, 100% you can. You are a Clarkston student. Just because you are not in our brick and mortar schools does not mean you are not a Clarkston student. And you will have access to all the activities. So we want families to know that. We want our students to know that you can participate in any of the activities that you would like to. We utilize our Clarkston teachers for academic support. As a matter of fact, Mr. Gary Vicker, that you just heard from, works over at Renaissance High School. He was kind enough to give us a space within his school so that we could create a virtual lounge. Every single day we have Clarkston virtual staff over there. We are starting to rotate our counselors over there to provide face-to-face support at any point during the day to our virtual students. We have virtual students that come and meet with their mentors. We have virtual students that show up to get support if they're struggling in a certain academic area or in a certain class. It's a really special place, and and that's evolving too. We're trying to make it more into like a cafe where the kids can come, they can sit down, they have laptops, we have support staff there, we have counselors in there throughout the week. So we're really trying to build that up as well. Like I said, our virtual counselors are there to support students academically. They're there to support students as a transition from the high school into colleges or university or trades. They're experts at this. They know exactly what to do with transcripts and how to make recommendations to colleges and universities, or how to point students in the right directions if that's not the path that they're choosing to take. And this is a little bit more challenging, obviously, virtually, but we have done this. We have had Zoom meetings with students that needed social emotional support. We have had phone calls with students and families that needed social emotional support. We have students that show up to the virtual lounge. We have students that have actually showed up to the board office and requested to meet with either teachers or counselors. So we're doing our best to support the students any way that we possibly can, whether that be virtual or face-to-face, whatever makes students the most comfortable. Why virtual? I mean, let's face it, we know that this is not the path for every student. What we're really excited about is that this is just another option that we're offering Clarkston families and students. We know that the majority of our students will be in a brick and mortar school. But it is another option for families. There's a lot that has happened over the last 2 years around the world, and we want to be sensitive to that, and we want families to know that there is an option for your students to continue to be in Clarkston, even though they're not in a brick and mortar school. We have a lot of students, especially seniors, that are working part-time. Well, a virtual schedule can really help support these students. They don't have to give up their summer jobs. They can continue to work and be a part of Clarkston Community Schools. We can get really creative with these schedules. They're flexible. Many of the classes are at your own pace. So kids can work in the morning if they chose to, and then continue to, or pivot and switch their focus to academics in the evening. It's really wild to think that. Like, I never had that option. But it's really, really, it's really cool. Sports, we have some very high-level athletes in Clarkston. We have some very high-level musicians and artists. They travel all over the country. A lot of them, 10 years ago, would have to give up a Clarkston education and find another online provider to possibly get their schooling from. But now we can support those students. They can travel across the country. They can continue to be passionate about their sports and their arts while getting a Clarkston education and graduating from Clarkston High School. Let's face it, there's also medical reasons that students may want and families may choose to look into the virtual program. Some of those medical conditions may be social-emotional issues. We've noticed that as this pandemic has affected the lives of millions, children are impacted by this. We're seeing a rise in anxiety, nervousness, and kids not wanting to return to school sometimes. And it's, it's just a few, but they have an option, and families have an option. Students sometimes have accidents or get into an accident or are injured. Like Nancy said, we can have a student join the virtual program for a limited amount of time and then transition back into the high school the following year. Lately, it's been at the semester time. We've given the community, we've given students the chance to change learning modalities at the semester. Has that been easy? No, but nothing's been easy lately. So we're trying to give families as many options as we possibly can. Another reason would be families have access to the curriculum for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now trust me, some of your kids are not going to be pleased about that. Holidays, yes, they could work on their classes. Weekends, they could work on their classes. Another opportunity that we're seeing I guess I would say, like, families requesting more of this would be the blended opportunities. And when I say blended opportunities, that would be a combination of in-person classes and virtual classes. That's kind of how we started. We had kids that were taking 5 classes at the high school, and then for whatever reason, maybe there's a scheduling conflict, maybe the class wasn't offered, they would pick up 1 virtual class. Now we have kids that are taking 3 classes at the high school or at the junior high, and taking 3 classes online. So we're supporting them within our brick and mortar school, and then we're supporting them on the virtual side. It's allowing for a lot of opportunity for families, a lot of creativity, and a lot of flexibility. A lot of students are taking online classes for credit recovery, or even advanced placement classes. It is going to help with students as far as building student experiences for the future and opportunities for the future. Let's face it, I've witnessed, and I'm sure a lot of you have, universities and colleges offering more online classes, workplaces offering more online training, remote working. So it's giving students an opportunity just to see what it's like. I know that there will be more questions. Fortunately enough, we have both of our counselors here tonight, as well as myself. We're going to set up a table in the cafeteria later on this afternoon. If you do have questions, I welcome you. Please stop by. We'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. And most of all, thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Damon. And our last speaker for this portion, I'd like to introduce Stacy Theophilus. She's brand new to Clarkston, and she's our Director for Student Support Services. Welcome, Stacy. Thank you. And I'm apparently the short one of the group here. So my name is Stacy Theophilus. I'm the Executive Director of Student Support Services here with Clarkston. I've been in Oakland County for 21 years, working as a special educator, and I have been incredibly thrilled since starting here at the end of June this last year. So briefly, just want to go through, special education and student services do run from between birth through age 26. So we support infants all the way through students through elementary, secondary at all of the buildings, as well as through our post-secondary program. We do have students up until the age of 26 that we continue to support. And really the purpose of the department is twofold. First of all, it's child find, which means that we are required to identify, locate, and provide services, if needed, to students who have a disability and who meet criteria for services. The second piece is providing special education, which is actually called specially designed instruction. So we have a variety of professionals that support our students throughout the district, including secondary. You can see them listed here. We have special education teachers with a variety of specific training and endorsements. We have amazing paraeducators, of which we could not do the work we do without them. We have school social workers, speech language pathologists, occupational and physical therapists. We also have school psychologists, and we also have teacher consultants. On top of that, we also work at the county level to tap into even some of our more, what we call low incidence, disability area professionals as well. There are a variety of areas that a student can qualify for special education, and this would be through an IEP, so Individualized Education Plan. I'm not going to read all of them, but in the state of Michigan, here is the list. And in grades 8 through 12, we provide supports to the junior high, to Clarkston High School, Clarkston Virtual, as well as Renaissance High School. So yes, we do have students that are part of our virtual program who require specially designed instruction in an area. They require supports from, let's say, a speech language pathologist or a special education teacher. And we work closely with mentors and work closely with the program to help provide those student supports. Renaissance High School, again, supports, and then the whole range of supports throughout all of these buildings. Lastly, I just want to touch on, we do have an amazing adult transition program that's continuing to grow and develop here. We have some students who, due to their disability, are working toward a certificate of completion, which is different than a typical high school diploma. For these students, we have an adult transition program, and we have several options. The focus is on independent living, community participation, employment and training, and functional academics. We currently have roughly 60 students that are between the ages of 18 and 26 that are currently participating in our adult transition program. And so if you have a student who has more significant needs and may not be maybe on the alternate curriculum, we have amazing opportunities moving forward. We have students that are at work sites throughout the community. We have a full-time transition coordinator that works not only with our students 18 to 26, but actually all secondary students who have IEPs to talk about work-based learning, to talk about career readiness, all of those pieces as well. Here, there are 3 administrators within our department. I've just included the contact information. It's myself, Lee McFarland supports the secondary, and Katie LeMay as well. I have been incredibly impressed with the staff here and the families, and I know we're going to continue to grow and develop. And if you do have specific questions about your child, whether or not they have an IEP or not, please reach out to us, reach out to your child's teacher, reach out to the school administrator, because these are things that you don't have to wait. We want to make sure that we're supporting students that need the support as soon as possible. Okay? Thank you very much. So we're So I want to speak at 7 to 7:30. We're going to have a couple of breakouts. So Clarkson High School, if you're interested in learning more, Gary Call is going to be leading the high school information in the LGI. You exit out here, turn left, and then you're going to turn left again, and the LGI will be on your left. So you're going to go 3 lefts to find Gary Call leading the high school. Adam Kern's going to stay right here. So at the junior high information portion, you're going to stay right here in the Performing Arts Center. And Gary Vicker, who you heard from tonight, will be in our learning commons, which is just turn left, keep going a little bit further than the LGI, and it'll be on your left. We're going to start this at 7, so you do have 15 minutes, but also from 7:30 to 8, right out here, we were going to put them in the cafeteria, but Gary said, oh no, we're going to put them right in this hallway. And you'll see people representing and that can speak to the wide variety of specialized programs that we offer in the secondary. And so you'll see them listed here. So if any time you want more information about any of these, please, they're at a table, there's a sign at each table, and so that you can gather good information tonight about that. So we're going to start again at 7. Again, I'm Nancy Mahoney. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Gary Call, Adam Kern, Gary Bigger, Stacy, Dr. Ryan. We are here to serve you, and we certainly want the secondary experience to be stellar for all kids. So I thank you very much for attending, and we'll let you go until we start again at 7. Good evening.